Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's the afternoon and I'm here with a live stream, which can mean only one thing. And that means that things are developing, which is exactly what they're doing. And it's not Ruben Neves. It's not Eduardo Camavinga. It is Saul Niguez. The story is coming from Fabrizio Romano that Manchester United are in for Niguez. I'm here and I'll bring you all the latest news. We'll run through it. We'll run through the story from Fabrizio. And more importantly, I think we'll take a look at Saul Niguez. Where does he fit into this Manchester United team? If he does join, is he the sort of man who can come in and sort our problems in central midfield or defensive midfield? What sort of midfielder is he? Is he the right player for United? Plenty of you are going to join in on this one from YouTube, from Facebook. I can see Orr in the comments. I can see Josh Williams in the comments. I can see Victor in the comments. Some of the OG members on YouTube. But let's get straight into this one. Make sure throughout the video you smash a like on it. But it's coming from the main man himself, and that is Fabrizio Romano. Saul is set to leave Atletico Madrid, he said. Chelsea have opened talks for Saul Niguez a few days ago. There's an official bid now on the table. Loan with a buy option. Manchester United have asked for Saul again in the last 24 hours, and he's on that list with Camavinga. He's ready for a Premier League move. Now, you let me know what you think about that in the comments below. But Man United are in for Saul Niguez. What I want you to know, let me know, sorry, in the comments. What do you think that's the right or the wrong thing to do? My initial reaction this morning was to say, look, I don't really see the logic in Manchester United going after Saul Niguez when we've got a player like Donny van de Beek who doesn't get used. But maybe I was wrong to say that. Maybe I was wrong to say that they were sort of similar types of players, because maybe Saul Niguez would be a little bit better in a deeper playmaking role. Let me see what you think about this in the comments below. We've got Tommy, you're saying Niguez is going to improve our team. You say Mars saying that means Pogba's going. I think they're completely unrelated. It does not mean anything to do with Paul Pogba. Anuj, you're saying you don't need him. Well, geez, you're feeling much better about Manchester United central midfield than I think about it. But Saul Niguez, look, I said this morning, I found it strange we were getting linked with him. But maybe that's me being ignorant as to what sort of player Saul Niguez is. I would, at this point, with a week to go, I'll be delighted with Saul Niguez. I'll be delighted with Eduardo Camavinga. I'll be delighted with Ruben Neves. I would just be delighted if Manchester United signed a goddamn central midfielder. And that's what happens when you get to the last week of it. You get a little bit desperate. And I'm not saying that Niguez is a desperate signing. It's just that it's we've been linked with him plenty, but it's not really developed into anything more than kind of a bit of newspaper guff. Then out of nowhere, Man United are in for him. Now, what I think this is, and I think this is why it's crucial, you can see here, look, so Chelsea's offer there is a loan with a buy option. That's pretty much, I would argue, the only reason we're considering going after Saul Niguez rather than someone like Eduardo Camavinga or someone like Ruben Neves is because we wouldn't have to pay the cash up front for him this year. We would just have to pay for a loan fee with the buy option next year. Therefore, we can spread the payments out. And I'll be honest, I think if Camavinga or Neves was available on a loan, both of them would probably be higher on the list than Saul Niguez. Although, as I said, with that Eduardo Camavinga, as an 18-year-old, it's a very strange situation because you couldn't rely on him to come in and make a difference. It would be unfair. But this is the important part here. And I was going to do this in a video tomorrow. Hell, maybe I'll do this in a video right now. But Saul Niguez, what's his position? That's crucial because Manchester United, we don't want an attacking midfielder, do we? We do not need an attacking midfielder. And if you take a look at Transfermarkt and you have a look across the course of his career, positions played, this is where we need to look at here, ladies and gents. Oh my God. I can't wait to get a new laptop. This is making me furious now, this laptop. Absolutely furious. And for some reason, that's not loading there. Let me quickly go here. Let me see if that makes it better. There you go. So we take a look at these. Central midfield, that is where he's played the majority of his career. 171 appearances there in central midfield. Defensive mid 34. Left mid 51. Right mid 67. He is a central midfielder. Saul Niguez would come in and sit in that double pivot. That is where he would play for Manchester United. He's not a pure defensive midfield in any way, shape, or form. And I think that's probably why previously I was quite dismissive of the idea of Saul Niguez at Manchester United. But if we're looking at Manchester United and thinking, right, we're playing this double pivot. We are playing this double. And you're asking, saying, look, with the heat map, yeah, we can see, look, his natural position is certainly more as a central midfielder, which would suit the double pivot far more than saying that he's going to be a holding midfielder. And it strikes me as that is what Manchester United have been looking at this summer, rather than looking at anyone like Ndidi or someone along the Kante lines. We haven't really been looking for them. We've just been looking out for central midfielders. Therefore, the Saul Niguez story makes complete sense. And I'll be honest, maybe it's, if I was excited about the idea of signing Ruben Neves, why wouldn't I be excited about the idea of signing Saul Niguez? Somebody who has plenty of experience at the highest level. And this is a conversation that we need to have here in the comments. Look, as Richard there is saying, RIP Donny's career. If we sign Saul Niguez, is that the end of it for Donny van der Beek, or do they operate in different positions? Could you sign someone like Saul Niguez, and then we'll look at a little formation in a minute, but could you sign someone like Saul Niguez and play him a little bit deeper, and then have Donny van der Beek coming as the backup to Paul Pogba, as the backup to Bruno Fernandes in a more attacking role? Let me know what you think about that in the comments below. Aaron, I don't know whether it will mean, I don't personally think it will mean that Van der Beek will be sold. But it doesn't really, at a time where Van der Beek's worked on his opportunities, if we then go and sign Niguez, it's just another hurdle that's being put in front of him. Let me head down to the comments and see what you think about this. Look, if you're new in town, ladies and gents, drop a like on the video, smash that like button. Come on. It's Tuesday. Be generous. Subscribe if you're new as well. So it's free to do. Get involved. Let me go down here. We've got Katumba. You're saying I would prefer. Oh, sorry about that. You're saying that you would prefer Camavinga rather than the other ones. I'm not sure. As I said, Camavinga, I think he's an excellent prospect. Clearly is an excellent prospect, and that's why Manchester United have been linked with him. But in terms of making the difference now, which is what we need, we want to go for the Premier League title this season. Someone like Niguez would certainly be a safer bet. I think that's fair. Or you're asking there, if he comes in, will he play with McSauce? I hope he plays with Donny. Can you please put down a formation of how he will play? He can play with Donny. Now, that was going to be the next thing I'll do, but tell you what, since you are so nicely, sir, let's go skip straight over to that. And let's take a look at this. Because what would Manchester United's formation be then if we got Niguez in? Because I'll be completely honest, I think we're going to be sticking with this 4-2-3-1. I think this idea that Manchester United were going to switch to a 4-3-3 this season, it's what we all wanted, and therefore you needed a proper holding midfielder, but I don't think we're going after that holding midfielder. Therefore, you can't truly properly play the 4-3-3. But what you can play, and what I would expect to see, is something along these lines. Of all the midfielders who could then operate alongside Niguez, it would certainly be McTominay who gets the nod for me. And it would mean that while you got a 4-2-3-1 here, you'd probably see a little bit of this. You'd probably see McTominay just dropping a little bit behind Niguez. Just like that. Therefore, it allows Niguez to focus on bringing the ball forward. Playmaking from deep. Playmaking from the edge of the D inside our own half. And McTominay can concentrate on being that sort of sweeper, holding, not an actual pure and out holding midfielder, but somebody who would basically sit behind Niguez and give him the ability to really focus on bringing the ball forward. And it's something I said this morning in the stream, is that one thing Manchester United are just not good at, or good enough at, sorry, in central midfield is ball possession, ball retention, actually just having the ball at our feet and being comfortable with it, playing through the lines. Right now, it moves too fast between the defense down here and the attack up there. And that's because we don't have someone like Saul Niguez. Or we do, but Solskjaer doesn't seem to want to play Donny van der Beek. I'm sure Van der Beek could play that role very, very well. But Solskjaer doesn't trust him there. And the fact that we're going after another central midfielder in Niguez, for me, It doesn't mean the end of Donny van de Beek's United career, but it just makes it so much more difficult. Let me go down to the comments here and see what you think about this. Let's have a look. Look, so I've got a higher press, says Jason. That's something that definitely will happen. Is Manchester United have to? And that's something I've said again, is what we need here. That's why we need Varane. So we can get this. We can get Varane and Maguire. We can get our average positions as a defence higher up the pitch. And therefore, McTominay can sit a little bit there. Niguez can probably sit more just on the edge there. Bruno can push up to the edge of the opposition box, which is where he is dangerous. Bringing Varane in means that the average position for every Manchester United player will go further up the pitch. And then when you look at where Niguez is going to receive the ball, if he does, say, hypothetical here, he joins. On paper, it might be a 4-2-3-1 like that. But in reality, what you more likely see is someone like Niguez or Van der Beek just drift a little bit further up with McTominay dropping in behind when that happens. And McTominay is the only one out of the midfield options we have that has the discipline and the quality to actually do that. Now, something I actually do think would work, absolutely, is Donny van de Beek in that position. It's effectively, that's the exact position that he would love to play. And that's why I think it's a little bit... Is it unfair on Donny? Hell yeah, it's unfair on Donny. But football is a ruthless business. Football is ruthless. And I'll tell you what, he has got tough treatment. He has had tough treatment from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer ever since he joined Manchester United. For whatever reason, I don't know what that reason is. For whatever reason, Solskjaer just does not trust Donny van de Beek. To the point where we now might sign someone like Saul Niguez, who effectively operates in that exact same position as him. Let me head down to the comments here and see what you think. Bravin, you're saying, off-topic question, does Rashford walk into the team if he is fit? I think Pogba is far more effective on the left wing compared to Rashford. Now, Rashford's position is definitely best on the left wing, mate. And Rashford will definitely walk straight back in this starting 11 as soon as he is fit to play. Therefore, you're going to see some moving around. Whether or not you think that's the case, Rashford will definitely come in and play that role. Or you're asking a question there saying, can Donny not play with Saul Niguez? I mean, you could do that. You could absolutely do that. But that would be a hell of an aggressive formation with effectively no real defensive stability. Whether or not you play, I don't know, Donny further behind with Niguez further up, just like that. Whether you play him in a 4-2-3-1, I don't know. You can have a variety of little positions. Let me zoom in a little bit more so you can hopefully see that a little bit more detail. 1 second there. Let's go full screen there. Lovely, lovely. Oh my God. There. That's better. Whether or not you feel that Niguez could operate in that position there with Van der Beek just behind him, I don't know. But it would be a very, yeah, I think it's fair to say there, or interchangeable. It would certainly be interchangeable. But why would, all of a sudden, why would Solskjaer trust Van der Beek before and after signing Niguez when he hasn't trusted him at all before signing him? Like, it seems odd to me. It seems very odd to me. I still probably think I would prefer Ruben Neves, if I'm being completely honest. I've always said that, maintain that the entire way through. But if Niguez is available on loan, whereas we'd have to go out and spend cash on Ruben Neves and we'd have to spend cash on Eduardo Camavinga, I think that's why Manchester United would go after Saul Niguez. It's not the right reason to go after him. It's not to say that he is a bad player in any way, shape or form, because he's not. He's a Champions League top-level quality central midfielder, and it's not the first time we've been linked with him. We were linked with him years and years ago. Niguez probably strikes me as a Ander Herrera. He's an Ander Herrera type player. Ander Herrera was never a proper central in the defensive midfielder at Manchester United, but he had that bite to his game. He had that tenacity to his game. He's like a better version of Herrera. That's what I would call Saul Niguez. It's not to say that he's going to come in and be the holding midfielder that we need, because he would not be the holding midfielder we would need. Neither would Ruben Neves, not on paper anyway. Both of them would be better suited to playing in the double pivot, and that's exactly why we've been linked with both of them. Abby, how you doing, my friend? Is that the same Abby, or a different Abby? I'm not sure. I think it's the same one. How are you doing? Bazzy, you're saying we're buying our old targets. As I said, this is not the first time that we've been linked with Saul Niguez. So you can go back to like 2013, really, that we were first linked with him a long, long time ago. Brad, you're saying fair enough, but where would you play Pogba to get the same return from him? He has been effective in his other roles. Look, if you play Pogba in this formation here and you play him there and you play him slightly further up and you actually let him operate instead of it being in a 4-2-3-1 traditionally, and you just have that and you have McTominay sitting behind and you actually properly give Paul Pogba the freedom to move forward into the holes there, that's probably going to be where Paul Pogba's actual best position is at Manchester United. Simple. But when you play Paul Pogba in like a double pivot and you actually force him to try and stay disciplined like that, that's when you don't get the most out of Paul Pogba. But Manchester United have already, before we've even signed Saul Niguez or the idea of signing Saul Niguez, we are spoilt for quality in terms of central midfielders past the halfway line. We've already got Bruno Fernandes. We've already got Paul Pogba. We've already got Donny van de Beek. We've already got 3 top-level players to play in those positions. And maybe if Niguez is coming in, that's a sort of step towards Manchester United, maybe preparing for Paul Pogba leaving. It's certainly an argument that could be had because there's no way you're keeping Pogba, Bruno, Van de Beek, and Saul Niguez happy, really, for those 2 positions. But saying that, that's what elite level football teams do, is they have 2 top quality players for each position. So maybe Niguez coming in just only completes and reinforces our central midfield to the point that we can now rotate and we can deal with injuries, and therefore whenever Paul Pogba and Bruno leave the team, the quality of our football doesn't just like fall off a cliff. Let me know what you think. Like Saul Niguez, look, it's at that, and I've said it at the start of the video, it's at that point now where if it's Saul Niguez, if it's Ruben Neves, if it's Eduardo Camavinga, I'd just be happy that Manchester United signed a central midfielder. That would be my first reaction. Kind of relief that Man United have actually gone out and signed a central midfielder. I don't personally think it will be the exact type of midfielder we need, but at the same time, I actually don't think that we're going to be switching towards this 4-3-3 that we all got excited about during the summer, during the preseason, this idea that we were going to switch to a 4-3-3, play a holding midfielder, but we don't have a holding midfielder at the club apart from Matic, who's too old. And we've never really been linked with one that we've gone after properly. Saul Niguez, more of a box-to-box central midfielder. Let's quickly take a look here, back again at his stats over his career. If you look at that, 106, 71 appearances as a central midfielder for Atletico Madrid, 34 as a defensive mid. He's had more on the left wing and the right mid than he has at a defensive mid. Saul Niguez, I repeat, is not a defensive midfielder in any way, shape or form, but it doesn't mean that he can't operate and bring some sort of defensive stability to that. And if you're looking at a ball-playing, possession-based central midfielder, then someone like Saul Niguez could come in and make such a massive difference to your team. Allison's TV channel is saying, oh, did she give Donny a game time instead of bringing Saul into the team? He's the same sort of player to Donny. Naivety and favoritism is clear now, Sam. Look, you can all let me know what you think about that in the comments. And look, John, you're saying it right there. He's more of a number 8. He is more of a number 8. He's certainly not a number 6. He's, as I said, from a comparison that we can all sort of understand and relate to and how they played at Manchester United, and Herrera would be a fair comparison. It's not to say that Herrera and Niguez are the same quality in terms of their level. I think Niguez is a level above, but understand he's that sort of midfielder. He's not a defensive mid. I think what we need to do now as United fans is accept the fact that we're going to be playing this 4-2-3-1 this season and try to understand how we can get the best out of that formation, because I wanted us to move away from it, but it's clear that we're not going to sign the player that we need to move away from it. Therefore, we've got to stay with it. And if we're going to stay with it, what's the best way to use it? Now, what I hope is happening this season back on the training ground is that Michael Carrick and Darren Fletcher are really trying to help Scott McTominay understand the defensive side to being a central midfielder. It's not to say that Scott doesn't do it, but Scott's very much a box-to-box midfielder. He likes moving around a lot. He likes using his energy, using his physicality. Sometimes it drags him out of position, but I think he can learn to be a little bit more disciplined. And if you're planning on signing someone like Saul Niguez, then whoever plays in that midfield pivot alongside him has to have that discipline madly. But it certainly will be a far cry from Fred and Matic that we saw against Southampton. David saying, Sam, you've got to try and get some inside info on Donny. Something stinks. Hey, look, something does. I don't like it. I don't like it, if I'm honest. I don't like what's going on. Donny van der Beek strikes me as a good lad. Edwin van der Sar, remember that letter that he wrote when Donny van der Beek joined? And we're all dead excited about it. And he's just disappeared off the face of the earth at United, turned into a ghost in the background. Kind of feel sorry for him. I don't kind of feel sorry for him. I really feel sorry for him. By the way, sorry, as you can hear, this is the product of going and watch Manchester United away. My voice has been a bit tentative for the last 72 hours. I'm hoping by the end of the week it comes back nice and strong. But right now, I sound like a Poundland Barry White. I realise that. Apologies. Let me go down to the comments here. You keep firing your comments and your questions in. Let's go back to the main story of why we're having a conversation here. And that's Fabrizio Romano confirming that Saul Niguez is leaving Atletico Madrid. Chelsea open the talks. Now, Chelsea or United, that's an interesting conversation we can definitely have. Do you think Man United or Chelsea have a bigger and better chance of signing Saul Niguez? Say if Saul is there and he's got two offers, one from Chelsea, one from Man United, who is Niguez going to choose? Where is he more likely to get game time in the position that he wants to? Is it at Manchester United where he's going to have to compete with McTominay, Fred, Matic? Or is it at Chelsea where he's going to have to compete with the likes of Jorginho and Kante? Which would be a better move for Niguez? Which will he prefer? Let me know what you think about that in the comments below. Josh, Sam got COVID. I haven't got COVID. I've had COVID before and I'm double jabbed. So I swear to God, if I get it again, fuming. Absolutely fuming. Top dog, you think he's going Chelsea. And Jason, you also think he's going Chelsea. Let's see what else you all think in the comments below. I go to Chelsea if he wants to win, if he wants game time at United. Aaron, you're saying Chelsea don't need him. They have enough cover in midfield. Victor, and you're saying, I'm happy if Saul comes in. Maybe Fred will finally stay on the bench where he belongs. That's a bit harsh. Don't think you like Fred, do you, my friend? Shazin, you're asking, do I think we need another world-class striker who converts loads of goals? Someone who makes a difference in big games? Harry Kane, maybe. Are you Gary Neville in disguise, my friend? Because you certainly sound like Gary Neville. In an ideal world, yes, of course, we would sign someone like Harry Kane, but this is not an ideal situation. It's not an ideal world. And if we go sign Harry Kane, then we probably won't sign any player for the next 2 years because all of our money will be going on him. I don't think we're signing Harry Kane, not for the amount of money that he is being, well, his price tag. It's way too high. Absolutely way too high. Let's have a look. McFred beat Pogba for double pivot slot. Saul has no chance. Free Donny. Fred does belong on the bench. I think Fred is a good squad player. Dan James, a good squad player. Neither should be playing for Manchester United every single week. They should be used in the right way at the right time, and you can get the most out of them. I've always maintained that about Dan James. I maintain that about Fred. The reason they get begrudged, the reason that Marouane Fellaini started getting begrudged by Manchester United fans is because he was playing in central midfield every week, and he should not have been starting in that position every single week. Simple as that. But Man United are in for Saul Niguez. As I said, I personally think it's more to do with the fact that it's a loan deal, first and foremost. I think if Niguez was available for 30, 40 million euros only and no loan was an option, I don't think there would be even a sniff of United going in for him. Jason, you're saying you'd rather save the money. And Simon, you agree with that on Facebook, saying save the money for Haaland next year. But look, I personally think that if I'm excited about the idea of Manchester United signing Ruben Neves, then I would have to be excited about the idea of Manchester United signing Saul Niguez. I think they're quite similar in their styles. I think defensively, I would say Ruben Neves would offer a little bit more. But if you're looking at like a possession-based ball-playing central midfielder, somebody who can come in and really recycle possession properly, then Saul Niguez would do that a hell of a lot better than Fred would do. In McTominay, I think you've got a potential double pivot there of McTominay and Niguez that would work far better than Fred and McTominay, because with Fred and McTominay, if there's no pressure on them, and they're all right. But when you put them under pressure and they've moved the ball, it's very, they don't have the quality or the self-belief to really do those like balls through the lines, those press breaking passes. I think McTominay and Fred are quite susceptible to turning around and heading backwards when the press comes in front of them. Someone like Saul Niguez would be far more capable of being good in that situation, actually wanting the ball at his feet, having the confidence to take players on with the ball at his feet. I just don't think we're ever really going to see that from Fred or McTominay in that position in a double pivot. Let me go down to the comments here. Famous number 7 saying, we spent last year's money on Sancho. We have plenty of cash. We paid very little up front for Varane. We have money now. Look, you're right. I agree with that. But it's a week to go and we haven't signed a central midfielder or really been in for one properly. It's because of money. It has to be. Pure and simple. And if you are new in town, by the way, and you're joining in, welcome aboard. Make sure you drop a like on the video and subscribe. Come on. Get involved. Please. It does help the videos as well. Helps the channel grow. And that's what I want. That's what you want. It's what everyone wants. But Saul Niguez, it's kind of surprised. Surprised me is the wrong word, because Saul Niguez, like Neves, like Camavinga, he's been one of those central midfielders who have been linked with United all summer long. Nothing really has happened past that point, but it's now happening. And Manchester United, with a week to go, we are going in for Saul Niguez. And in the same way that maybe it was a race between Manchester United and PSG to sign Camavinga, it looks like it's going to be a race between Manchester United and Chelsea for Atletico Madrid. Ben Rook is saying, where do I get my shirts from, matey? It's oldschoolfootball.co.uk. And Anuj, you're right. The giveaway winner will be announced in the next couple of days over on Discord. Giving away one of these, but it's in a hoodie. It's lovely. From the guys at Old School Football. And as well, I think I need to do another. So many giveaways I need to organise. So many giveaways I've done already. We've had Craig Peterson got the Ever letter with a presentation box and a hoodie and a bag from I Love This Game. That was a 200,000 subscriber giveaway. Gave away a Discord hoodie as well. Giving away a hoodie of this. Going to give something else away on top of that. Hey, look, it's interactive. You know I enjoy doing it. I really enjoy having these sorts of conversations. But I think tomorrow what I might do is a bit of a more in-depth, quick video on Saul Niguez, on his actual position, looking at it, maybe trying to speak to a Spanish journalist. If there's any recommendations you'd like me to speak to, find me a tweet at @sampeobles_. But Saul Niguez, it's exciting, man. Manchester United might actually be going out and signing a central midfielder. And that in itself, I'm massively excited about. This is an interesting one. You have to let me know in the comments here. What would you rank Manchester United's summer transfer window if we sign Saul Niguez? So that would be signing Rafael Varane, signing Jadon Sancho, and then signing Saul Niguez. Compared to what our requirements were at the start of the summer transfer window, what would you rank that out of 10? 10 out of 10? 5 out of 10? 7 out of 10? How good do you think our summer window would be if we sign Niguez compared to what it would be if we didn't sign him or sign any other central midfielder? My God, I sound terrible. I sound like bloody Marlon Brando. My God. Right, let's have a look. Aaron, you're saying 9 out of 10. John, you're saying 8.5. Elza, you're saying 9. Let's have a look. 8 out of 10 says Victorim. We need another signing. 9 says Iden. 2 out of 10 if I'm not signed. Well, Eduardo, you should probably get on the blower then instead of joining in the comments here. JJ, you're saying 8. Bazzy, you're saying 9. Surrendering, you're saying 7. Chris, 7. Chris, 8. I'll be honest. Look, or you coming in as well. What are you saying, my friend? You're saying anyone who comes into the mid is a bonus. 8 out of 10. I think I probably would go 8 out of 10. Nah, well, I don't know. 8.5 out of 10. I'm adding a 0.5. How about that? Because the 3 positions that I said Manchester United needed to strengthen this summer would be centre-back, right wing, and central midfield. And if we sign Atletico Madrid's Saul Niguez in that final position on top of the quality that we've got in Varane and Sancho, you can't say it's not a good window. Wow. That is a sensationally good window for Manchester United. it's not exactly how I would have panned it out to be. I would have wanted Manchester United to go over a pure holding midfielder and switch to a 4-3-3. That's what I wanted to see. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to stick with a 4-2-3-1. But therefore, if we stick to the 4-2-3-1, it would be a better summer if we signed someone like Niguez or Neves than if we did not. Camavinga would be a good signing too, but as I said, he's 18. He's coming from the French league. You don't know what you're getting, and therefore, it'll be a risk. Of all those signings, it'll be a risk. The least risky would be Ruben Neves, but we'd have to pay for him with cash. And I personally think that's probably a reason why we're really going after now Saul Niguez as a bit of a surprise. But in the last 24 hours, we've asked him. We've at least asked Atletico. He's on our list. He's on our list. We got a comment from Warren here saying, I think it's okay to have the 4-2-3-1 formation, but the transition into 4-3-3 when attacking with Saul being the CM and Scott pushing higher, perhaps. Look, I think you're absolutely a little bit, you're spot on there. I don't think it will really. I don't think it will be a pure 4-2-3-1 if we did sign Niguez. And I kind of think this is what Manchester United should be doing anyway when we're playing a double pivot, whether that's Fred playing there, although you wouldn't play Fred in that role. You basically just kick him out of the team. You'd have Fred coming on for Scott McTominay, because Fred and McTominay would both be good in this role on their own. A sort of a dynamic. Not one who's just going to sit there in front of the back four like you would as a Wilfred and Ndidi, but someone who's going to really sort of, if you're playing like there and you see Niguez, or whether that's Niguez or whether that's Van der Beek, and he pushes up a little bit, McTominay or Fred would be the person that drops in behind and covers that space and allows that player, Niguez or Van der Beek, to go and do some damage. So maybe it's a 4-2-3-1, which would come in more like that. You see the players moving a little bit more aggressive up there, which leaves the space here for Niguez to go and exploit and then come back and cover here. That will be the position he operates in. And that could work with the 4-2-3-1. And maybe I've been a little bit over harsh in saying that we need that if we don't sign a defensive midfielder, then there's no chance of us competing for the Premier League this year. But if we sign Niguez, there's no doubting that Manchester United's team would be in a better position than without him. I think we can all agree on that. It's not what any of us would have really gone for on paper, I don't particularly feel, because we all wanted that pure out-and-out defensive midfielder, didn't we? We wanted that Ndidi. We wanted that Kante. If you look at all the teams around us, Fabinho at Liverpool, Kante at Chelsea, Partey at Arsenal, well, actually not the teams around us because they're, 18th now? Højbjerg with Spurs, City with Fernandinho. All the teams have a traditional holding midfielder. We've got one. He's Matic. He's way too old. Simple as that. He needs to be replaced. But I don't think he's going to get replaced like for like. I think if he does get replaced, we're going to see McTominay getting pushed into a bit of a deeper role and maybe operating more as a follow-up to Matic. And therefore, that frees a space up in front of him for someone like Saul Niguez or someone like, I don't know, Donny van der Beek. But Donny just has not been playing, and I don't know when he will. But Fabrizio Romano here, he's confirming that Manchester United are in for Saul Niguez. But so are Chelsea. It's not a free run at him. There will be other people who want him. And therefore, United are going to have a bit of a battle on our hand. Can we offer a better deal than Chelsea? Probably not wages-wise. But can we all offer a better proposition in terms of playing regular football and the ambition this year? Look, Chelsea would be, they were the champions of Europe last year. They've just signed Lukaku. They're just spending money left, right, and centre. But Saul Niguez, surprising me. And because of what Abby's saying there, look, why is a player like that's similar to Van der Beek needed? At least Van der Beek will leave before signing Niguez. Van der Beek already was insulted when Lingard was sent on instead. Look, as I said, I'm having a quick look at the sort of heat maps and understanding exactly where Saul Niguez has played over his career. So if you look at the first couple of games of this season, he's really gone out left. That's where he plays, like a left central midfield. And he could do that at Manchester United. He's a central midfielder. He's not a defensive mid. He's played out on the left and the right wing more than he's played defensive midfielder. But it's not to say that he couldn't be a good player. It wouldn't be exactly what I would want to see Manchester United go for. But Man United would be a better squad and a better team if we signed Saul Niguez rather than not signing him. It's as simple as that. Look, as Uncle Dubious, last name, Uncle Dubious says, Saul is a kind of Herrera. It's what I would compare him to. And I liked Herrera, but I think he could be even better. Darren Carney watching from New Zealand. Big up to you. It's a lockdown there, isn't it? You've announced another lockdown. But look, if anyone's got any questions now, fire them in. I'll give you another 5 minutes before I wrap the show up, answering your questions. If you would, please drop a like on the video. Please subscribe if you're new. If you want to support the channel, fire in a super chat or become a subscriber. Yeah, become a subscriber and also join the member family. Just like Victorium, just like Surendran, just like Josh Williams. Yeah, man. Abby. There's so many of you already in. If you like to get involved, get involved. Anything that comes in there is only going to get reinvested back into the channel. Like straight away, I'm going to have to get a new laptop because it's becoming really annoying that it's not as crisp and as professional as I wanted it to be. That will get resolved soon. My God, this throat better be good in a couple of days. I really hate sounding like this. But let me read your comments out here. Monkey, you're asking what about Donny? Look, as I said, the Donny situation is very strange. And I think I'm going to have to cover it in a bit more detail. Maybe try and speak to somebody about it because it's not looking good for him. Really not looking good for him. Or I think you're still drunk. Hell, maybe I am. I don't think I am, but I certainly sound like it. Josh, you're saying we will never sign Rice. I don't think we will. Well, we certainly won't sign Rice this summer. West Ham are going to price him out of a move. He's definitely not going to be leaving this summer. Lim, you're saying, why do we never address our midfield issue? When a team presses us, we just can't pass the ball properly. There's been a constant issue for us. And for exactly that reason, you can understand why Saul Niguez would be a good signing. Because he's the sort of player who can come in and have the confidence when the team is pressing against him because he's used to it. He's used to that in Spain. When McTominay and when Fred have time on the ball, they're okay. But when they're put under pressure, they just turn backwards. And that's where it frustrates United fans. Ozzy, how you doing, man? Saying, Ollie already said Fred should have blocked the shot and shamed him. Now Ollie needs to bench him. Simple. Don't think he'll be benching either of them unless he brings in another central midfielder. That's how little he trusts Matic. But then he started Matic. I don't really understand a lot of the decisions that Solskjaer makes in central midfield, if I'm being completely honest. I'll definitely admit that. There's a lot of issues, I would say, in midfield that keep propping their head up. I question a lot of Solskjaer's decisions in that regard, and that is where I understand the frustration about his decisions. Andreas, you're saying, hey, Sam, at this point, I would gladly take Saul than no midfielders, although I feel very sorry for Donny. Ever occurred to you that Ollie wants Saul because Pogba may leave next summer? Look, that's certainly a reason why it could be happening, for sure. And when it comes to a loan with a buy option, you're effectively protecting yourself because it means as a football club, Manchester United can get Saul Niguez on loan for a year. If Paul Pogba then signs a new contract, well, cool. We don't need Saul Niguez. But then if Paul Pogba does leave, we've got Saul Niguez with a buy up. We've basically embedded him in for a year before Paul Pogba leaves. Maybe that is what's happening. It's certainly something that you can't rule out completely. Or saying Ollie has picked his team over a glass of red wine sometimes. Yeah, sure. I can't disagree with that. There's some strange decisions that he certainly makes. And we've seen them plenty. But signing Saul Niguez, look, as Levi says here on Facebook, look, he's an improvement over Fred. However, Donny should be given the opportunity. I agree on both of them. I think Saul Niguez would be a massive upgrade on Fred, but at the same vein, I would like to see Donny given that chance. But for whatever reason, ladies and gents, he's not getting that chance. Not yet, anyway. And I think it's kind of reaching that. It's kind of reaching that point where it's just a bit weird. It's just a bit weird now with Van der Beek and Solskjaer. There has to be a reason, and none of us know it. Don't particularly like it, if I'm being honest. But let's wrap it up here. Fabrizio Romano, look, he said that Saul Niguez is leaving Atletico Madrid. Manchester United, we're going to be in for him. We are in for him in the last 24 hours. He's on our list alongside Camavinga, but Chelsea are there offering a loan deal with a buy option. It looks like it will be between Manchester United and Saul Niguez and Chelsea for Saul Niguez this summer. Let me know what you think about that. He's not the defensive midfielder that we all feel we really need. He is not a pure defensive mid, but maybe we've been never going to go towards it, and we're sticking with the 4-2-3-1. Therefore, a player like Saul Niguez makes more sense. But anyway, thanks very much for joining in with the live stream today. I'll be back, as I always say. If there's another big update coming on, I need to restart this bloody computer. I need to get it whirring and get it better before the new one comes soon. But thank you all very much for joining in. Thank you all very much for your comments and your super chats. Anybody who's joined as a member like Abby, thank you very much. Get involved. Tweet me at @SamPeebles_ if you want to have a chat, or slide into the DMs if you want there. I always leave them open because I think it's important that people, if they want to get in touch with me, you can get in touch with me. But until next time, maybe tomorrow, a video on Niguez. Anyway, I'll be there in the morning. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, ladies and gents. But Saul Niguez, he's on our list, and maybe he's going to be the central midfielder that we sign this summer, which would come as a surprise, really.